Bitcoin ETF launches in Hong Kong on time. And price dumps below support. How can this happen? Shouldn't it pump? Well, if you haven't figured it out before, today is your day. It's called Sell the News. Sell the News ETF launch in the US. Sell the News Bitcoin halving. And if we go to 1 hour candles, Sell the News ETF launch in Hong Kong. But why is it so? Think about that for 1 minute. Because first, 200,000 subscribers. Thank you, everyone, really. It has usually been during periods like this, where the market gets a little difficult, that people find my channel. When I did this video boxing in the 2 scenarios, one being 70,000 here, that was on February 21st. Not many people were frankly interested, because at that time everything is just pointing straight up, and no one is interested in listening to some complicated models. But now when we're threatening to break 61,800 key support, and it starts looking like a very ugly, but still something that starts looking a little bit toppy here, it's looking quite different. I'm not gonna be the guy shouting the loudest that price will go up every single day, in uptrend and downtrend. I'm not. And since that's generally what people want to hear, I'll never be the biggest channel in numbers. And I don't want to be. Most people lose money. Here we're building a community where people take this a little bit more seriously, focusing on being more systematic, having a process. That will always be smaller in numbers. I thought maybe a few thousand people. Now we're 200,000. Wembley Stadium, how many seats? 90,000. Biggest soccer stadium, Bungaroo 1st of May Stadium in North Korea. Capacity 150,000. That is a big stadium. Still, we have more audience than Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un at 1st of May Stadium at a day like this. And half the viewers are not even subscribed. So if you're one of them, please subscribe. Let's leave the Supreme Leader in the dust. So why does it happen? Sell the news like this. The ETF launch was successful. The numbers here, I don't think they met. Here they've talked about 125 million. I don't know if the full day is in, but half day was only 6 million. But they have something huge which I hadn't even understood until today. So for example, Bitcoin miners can use their Bitcoin holdings to directly buy the spot ETF in Hong Kong. They don't need to sell the Bitcoin first. They can pay with Bitcoin. And there are 3 securities firms that can do physical subscriptions. A pioneering initiative for Hong Kong ETFs. Fully compliant, covering anti-money laundering provisions, whitelisting and everything. And they explicitly say here that countries and regions that have not yet issued ETFs outside of Hong Kong, such as Singapore and Middle East, they are in contact with a large number of such investors who are extremely interested. And they are open for trading during Asian trading hours, which will attract many American investors. Otherwise, if you're only on the American ETFs, you're taking a risk. What if there are big market movements when the markets are closed? Well, now you can mitigate that by having exposure on both markets. Then you have a wider coverage of the different time zones, more similar to trading actual spot Bitcoin. Officially, they're saying that mainland China investors are not allowed to invest in Hong Kong's cryptocurrency spot ETFs. I have a feeling that they can work around that. If someone has personal information, perhaps you can share it with me without, revealing your details so you don't get in trouble. Then comes something else very interesting. Hong Kong's Ethereum spot ETF is first in the world. What if the United States finally determines that Ethereum is a security? Will it affect Hong Kong's Ethereum spot ETF? Probably not, because whether the United States define Ethereum as a security does not affect the independent decision-making of the Hong Kong Securities Regulatory Commission. The Hong Kong Securities Regulatory Commission has its own set of procedures for determining whether a certain virtual asset is a security and whether it can be open to retail traders. It will not be affected by different opinions between various departments in the United States. Don't you love reading this? or ultimately their unilateral definition. United States has multiple departments speaking out at the same time or trying to regulate it. But in Hong Kong, who should supervise cryptocurrencies has long been decided, namely the China Securities Regulatory Commission. And this commission has given a very clear regulatory framework. Hong Kong already has a clear definition of Ethereum. Ethereum is not a security. Quite different message than what we see going on in the US now, isn't it? I have lived many years in Asia, and many people in the West constantly and still today underestimate Asia. They mention Singapore there. Last 20 years, Singapore has doubled GDP per capita, while many European countries have barely grown. France, United Kingdom, Italy, Singapore. So there's that. But Larsson, you're not answering my question. Why dump? Because people. There's people behind these decisions. AI or not, this doesn't change. People buy in anticipation of the event. They feel tomorrow price will go up because of event ABC XYZ. So today I should buy to take advantage of that price will go up tomorrow. Right? So people buy before the event. Then the event actually comes. And often it's successful. They deliver exactly what they have promised. But usually it's something with long-term benefits. Something that strengthens the position of the asset or the flow. Not something that happens on that day as they had imagined. And people thought something would happen on that day. It didn't. Happiness equals reality minus expectations. Try not to get dragged into this emotional roller coaster. This could be a great opportunity. It was after the US ETF launch, which was here on this peak 11th of January. Then came a great buying opportunity, sometime after the sell the news behavior had ended and actual volumes started picking up. In Bitcoin simulating behavior over many years, it has on average been more successful to not act on the wicks, not act on the intraday movements, but rather wait for the candle to close and then take action. The US ETF launch day was an excellent example of that. But if this breaks and doesn't bounce, not on the support and not on this diagonal channel boundary, then I've said before, I will move my targets down to about 52k. There's been a lot of talk about parabolas. And another reminder that that was the other model I had in the same video on February 21st, where we focused on the behavior before and after the halving. So this is the BLX chart, it shows only closed candles. So it's not wrong that it's showing this price, you have to imagine the price being about here right now. But as we zoom out, we don't really see that difference anyway. The other thesis from that model was that the time of the uptrend after the halving is roughly the same as the time before the halving, unless the parabola breaks and the trend turns down. So has the parabola broken here? I see a lot of people discussing that today on social media. The truth is that you don't know for sure. You can draw this parabola more or less steep, and it's still a valid parabola. It's just one input. At one point it becomes crystal clear, but right now it is not. So people who say that they know for sure that this has broken or they know for sure it has not broken, they're actually both wrong. You can't say it for sure. This could absolutely still be intact if it bounces here, but if it starts looking like this, there is no way you can draw the parabola still intact. Even if you draw it as a straight line on the log chart, which is still a parabola on the linear scale. Instead, we have to use a combination of factors. Is the trend still up as proxied by Larsen line? What is happening with the parabola? Are we getting head and shoulders pattern in the chart? And human psychology, like sell the news behavior after a big event. My strategy hasn't changed. I would love to see a deeper dip in an uptrend. Perhaps we will get it. This launch certainly didn't help ETH BTC. Still looks an absolutely garbage chart. Breakouts failed, attempts to reclaim support failed, trend is down on every conceivable time frame. But is there a bigger issue? Is the whole crypto adventure over as a result of the increased attacks, the regulatory attacks from very aggressive multiple departments in the United States, as our friend in Hong Kong here actually made a little bit fun of. Are they so powerful that they will shut the whole crypto down? This whole blockchain innovation, one of the biggest innovations of the current millennium so far. One of the 7 synergies of era digitalis, digital ownership, digital money and property in the digital world. Is it over? No, I don't think it is. You can't really stop era digitalis at this point. Like it or not, it's here to stay. And I think this gentleman described it very well. Either all of these are true. Coinbase has been listing an unregistered security that Hong Kong and Canada have approved spot ETFs for and classified as a commodity, which the CFTC has also claimed jurisdiction on. And BlackRock is building a tokenized fund on an unregistered security platform. And Uniswap's fully autonomous code is an unregistered broker-dealer. And 12 words strung together constitute a money services business. And Bill Hinman was wrong in saying that ETH is sufficiently decentralized. And Gary Gensler when he said that ETH is not a security. And the ETF, Futures ETF, was approved despite an ongoing investigation into ETH being an unregistered security. And all the innovation built on top of ETH, including tens of billions of stablecoin, which help USD distribution, are non-compliant. It's either all that or the SEC has overreached a little bit here. I think it's the latter, and I think the SEC are fully prepared to lose many of these cases. I think they're pushing up against the boundaries to get much of this tested in courts. And frankly, it would be so good for this industry if things are sorted out, so the programmers can focus on being programmers and don't need to become better legal experts than the SEC's 1,000 or how many they have professional securities lawyers. Then I have a launch today. Last week we launched stocks on Larsen Line Pro and it has worked. Today is a smaller but important infrastructure edition, Pro Discord. I want to deepen the collaboration with the most serious part of our community, combining this great tool, which has been the focus so far, with a deeper engagement. So if you are a pro member and can't see these channels today, check the support channels, and if you can't figure it out, just email me, I will reply. More stuff is coming here, which will need this setup, so this is kind of important. And if you're not on pro yet, the instruction is much simpler. You go here to ctolarsson.com and press pro here at the top. You can pay both with card, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins, over both Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana. Just get it done. This is great. Now we're going to combine this unique leading tool with a deeper engagement, and I'm very excited for what's coming next. Tomorrow is the 1st of May, and I'll have a little time off with my wife. Supreme Leader is not invited. He only has 150,000 anyway. Thank you, Tack. CT Larsson out.